19 simple psychological tricks that actually work. Psychological tricks, when used responsibly, can offer practical insights into human behavior. Here are 19 simple tricks that can be surprisingly effective in various situations. 1. Mirroring. People tend to like those who mimic their gestures and expressions. Mirroring establishes a subtle connection and fosters a sense of familiarity. For instance, if someone leans forward, you might unconsciously do the same. 2. The Zeigarnik Effect. Incomplete tasks tend to stay in our minds longer than completed ones. If you want someone to remember something, present it as an incomplete idea or story. They are more likely to retain it until it's resolved. 3. Foot in the door technique. Start with a small request before moving on to a larger one. Once someone agrees to a small favor, they're more likely to comply with a larger request later on. 4. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. This is the phenomenon where after noticing something for the first time, you start seeing it everywhere. This can be harnessed for learning. For example, if you're trying to learn a new word, once you encounter it, you're likely to notice it frequently. 5. The halo effect. People tend to associate one positive trait with an overall positive impression. If someone perceives you as kind, they are more likely to assume you're also intelligent and trustworthy. 6. Anchoring. The first piece of information we receive tends to influence our decisions. When negotiating, start with a higher number so subsequent figures seem more reasonable. 7. Ben Franklin effect. People are more likely to do a favor for someone they've already done a favor for. Asking someone for a small favor can make them feel more positively toward you. 8. Reciprocity. When you do something nice for someone, they are more likely to reciprocate. This simple give and take fosters positive relationships. 9. The power of silence. Pauses in conversation can be powerful. Silence can make people feel uncomfortable, prompting them to speak or reveal more than they intended. 10. Nodding. Nodding subtly encourages agreement. When discussing something, nodding can make the other person more likely to agree with your perspective. 11. Mere exposure effect. People tend to develop a preference for things merely because they are familiar with them. If you want someone to like you, being around them more can increase their fondness. 12. The door in the face technique. Start with a large request that will likely be turned down. Then follow it with a smaller, more reasonable request. People are more likely to agree to the second request after refusing the first. 13. Use positive reinforcement. Acknowledging and praising good behavior can encourage its repetition. This is applicable in various contexts, from parenting to workplace dynamics. 14. Social proof. People often look to others for cues on how to behave. Highlighting that others have endorsed or engaged in a particular behavior can influence an individual to follow suit. 15. The red effect. Red is associated with power and passion. Wearing red or incorporating it into your environment can subtly influence perceptions of authority and attractiveness. 16. Primacy and recency effect. People tend to remember the first and last items in a series better than those in the middle. When presenting information, ensure key points are placed at the beginning or end. 17. Use names. Using someone's name in conversation helps build rapport and makes the interaction more personal. It signals that you're attentive and value the individual. 18. Loss aversion. People are more motivated by the fear of loss than the potential for gain. Emphasize what someone stands to lose rather than what they could gain to influence decision-making. 19. The Goldilocks rule. People are most motivated when a task is not too easy and not too hard but just right. Setting achievable challenges can enhance motivation and performance. In conclusion, these psychological tricks provide practical insights into human behavior. However, it's important to use them ethically and responsibly, ensuring that they contribute positively to relationships and interactions. Remember, effective communication and understanding are key elements in applying these tricks successfully.